1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 152 of On the Backs of Gods. I am your DM, Jillian, and we have our players here today. Same as always, we have Kyle, Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. Go ahead and if you hear any issues with the sound, go ahead and give us a heads up. If anybody is listening into that right now, thank you. Big preach. Um, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a recap, which we all know is going to be a struggle because last week we had a little bit of a one shot to establish some duels that happened at this party last year. So I'm going to try to remember what happened last time. The party, in and of itself, kind of blends together as it's just one big night full of many beautiful and maybe less beautiful things, depending on your point of view. But currently, you all are at your first night of the party, dressed beautifully around beautifully dressed people, interacting with and meeting new friends, old friends, um, setting yourself up into a position to know people with some goals in hand, whether that goal is to establish a connection or assistance or to just have a good time. It's really up in the air what your goal may be. Some got so actually all of you got to watch Russ's first duel, which happened near immediately, taking out Raw the axe. And then you got to figure out what Russ does instead of fighting to the death. He offers for trophy and takes somebody's ear as his trophy, but then immediately burns it away on the magic that surrounds the dueling fields. Not into collecting these ears, just more of the fact of you still have to make a point even if you're not killing people. You have to set a standard. So that probably thins out a lot of the people that at least challenge Russ to the death. You also got to hang out with Corrine. You got to Fenn's grandma's here having a good time. Fenn brought her up to Corrine, and Corrine's like, "What a beautiful surprise!" And then made it happen and gave Grandma a nice little boy toy to put on her arm. She's having a blast. People get food and drinks. Encounter some guards who aren't big fans of y'all's. After you chose Gunhild over them, a murderer and ex cultist. But I'm sure there's no hard feelings after everybody gets a few drinks in them. Um, Keld saw a ghost or a person or a manifestation of his guilt, unclear. It could be none of the three, could be all of the three. Um, we got to listen to some very sad singing by Alder Tidings, who Roshan had heard of before. You got to meet Calendula, whose store you destroyed and stole personal medical information from. And you also got to see Ellie, an old friend of yours from way back, an old lady with her cow, Athumbla, who's just seeming to vibe and seems to be here to have a good time and is happy to throw hands in fisticuffs if anybody's interested. But Roshan can see that nobody is approaching Ellie at this time for said fisticuffs. Also, around the dueling fields, there is the widow, as the party's theme is sorrow and presenting the upper class with the sorrow of the lower classes and maybe bleed over of this sorrow, what they may experience as well, just on a different level. um, the widow, an actual widow, during the party walks around the dueling fields, and it seems got to see for a moment eye to eye with the person who took her husband from her and stabbed Torment, who Nana recognized as a the left hand of Strick Herserson, whose funeral you all attended. Rumors that all of them are berserkers, who knows? But he gets stabbed and then just kind of keeps walking as this woman who assaulted him outside of the dueling circle is escorted away. And the rest of you attend to party business because you're at a party. What else are you going to do? You're going to look the other way. Anywho, moving on. At this time, all of you have gone to your respective places where you wish to spend some more of your evening. Nana, after Fen and Corrine walk away, and you can feel like sweat around your brow, and you look down and see your foot bouncing. You know that you looked uncomfortable, for whatever
Shit.
that means, though she treated you as if you weren't and left it then. Currently, you sit in the food and drink area, tasked by Tan Rye's daughter, who you convinced to apologize to Thor instead of fighting. But you guys got to fight somebody because your status is trashed. So she's asked you to take a look around. She's going to look around, and then you're going to meet up at some point and then challenge somebody tomorrow. So that's the goal. As you realize you're kind of alone in this space, surrounded by a bunch of people, but alone nonetheless. What would you like to do?
Um, well, just so that she is doing the job she's been tasked to do, she does sort of a low key look around the room, one last look to see if there's anybody that she thinks might be someone of interest to note and inquire about as a potential dual candidate.
All right. And where are you heading after that?
After that, I am going to the lounge
Okay.
because I need something and I don't think booze is going to cut it this evening.
Yeah,
This is
let's
a
get the
lot
whole
for
party
one party.
blitzed.
This
And
is a lot
just
for one party.
see how it goes. Um, so Nana,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to allow you to do your overall look around
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Okay.
And so first off, give me a perception check. I'm going to give you advantage just based on the type of people you are looking for.
Mm-hmm. Well, goddamn. I'm grateful for the advantage. The other one was a nat 1, but the
Hmm?
other isn't the best. However, the total roll is still an 18.
Okay, that's not bad at all. Not enough for advantage on this next roll, but give me an insight check, please.
All right. One dice. That's more like it, honey. Okay. Insight 26.
Okay. So, with
Damn.
that, here's what we're going to do I'm going to
Mm.
present people to you,
Okay.
and I am going to lean on a fighter ability that you do not have yet. You are allowed to ask me 1 to 2 questions. I'll decide if this person, from looking at them, you can get both answers. But you can ask me stat centric questions. Are they the same? Are they a higher level than me?
Okay.
Are they, is their strength higher than mine? Do they have more hit points? Questions like that.
Okay.
So you are
All right.
allowed to ask me these questions in this moment.
Okay.
And you are going to get a good bit of information from looking at these people and asking and kind of just picking up on vibes of what they have on their person and
Mm-hmm.
maybe how they interact with the world around them.
Cool.
The first person who catches your eye is a sort of a genderless being, does not present one way or the other, and their face is their own twisted skin that moves up the side as if the whole face is beginning to swirl into
Ooh.
the eye on the side. One side
Uh,
remaining normal, but swirling up onto the side, their actual skin. And you watch as the skin goes from pale to tan to darker to blue to green and just goes through the gambit of colors. The hair changing color as well, the body remaining in a similar shape and size, but seeming to just be a kaleidoscope of color in motion. And you actually get like a closer look and see that like the shifting face is also kind of perpetually slowly moving around. So just a constant motion. Um, they are
does that
wearing
look like it's like part of their costume or
um, give me intelligence with advantage. Hey guys, Nana's gonna
okay.
roll a bunch of dice for a minute.
Yep.
Everybody vibe. Do drugs, drink, party, you know?
Hell yeah.
Uh,
This was intelligence.
yes.
Higher one is a 12.
Okay. Um, you are not positive, but you know there are beings that can change their appearance.
Like
You've
ink.
just usually seen them do it in a less grotesque way.
Yeah.
So
But
you're
then
unsure if
again,
that's normal or possible to do that. But it also
mm,
could be magic, which you are very
yeah.
certain could do that. So
Okay.
unclear on that.
All
If you're
right.
dealing with either something in the changeling category or something in the magic illusory category.
Okay.
Um, they are wearing a twisted braided cloak, kind of mimicking the swirl of their face, just a bunch of like
Whew.
knotted pieces and braided pieces, making something akin to a cloak. In blues and grays, and you can see kind of dim gems braided into some of these fabric pieces. They're wearing two ornate rings and have a slender dagger at the side. They
Mm-hmm.
are not wearing any armor.
Okay.
It presents to you a magic energy.
I was
This
thinking.
person presents magically.
Yeah, yeah. I've worked with Saga Bloom. I get my magic dar has been
You may ask me
Magidar.
2 questions
Okay.
about this person.
All right. Okay. Does this person appear to be a higher level than mine?
What is your current level
My
for the
current level
people?
is 13.
No.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting. All right. Okay. Um if they're a magic user, then do they seem to be. Can I ask like a three-prong type of question?
I don't think so.
No, it's got to be like a yes or no type of deal.
Yeah, that or at
Okay.
least a vibe of yes or no. I would
Okay.
appreciate.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Then does this magic user appear to lean more charismatic or wise?
I'll answer that. I was like, yeah, I'll answer. They are more charismatic. This person seems to
Okay.
have an aura of charisma about
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Okay.
them. Those are your 2 questions about that person.
Got
Um,
you. Hmm.
and I would say, based on your 26 of insight, um, this is Das Arodin.
Das Arodin?
Das Arodin.
Das Arodin. Okay.
The next person catches your attention from how the people that seem to be catching your eye, because there are plenty of people walking around with like armor, this and that, but it's something about an energy and an appearance. Like it's like, oh, it
Hmm.
catches your eye and brings you in. This
Mm-hmm.
person has sharp feminine features, opulescent scales that go up the sides of the face, and
Ooh.
there are crystal horn like protrusions that go from the jawbone, the cheekbone, and the side of the brow. Um, you have not seen a lot of people of this lineage. You think this is a dragonborn or people that
Oh.
claim to be dragonborns.
Mm-hmm.
This
They look like draconic humanoids,
Yes,
so
it's a good guess. They're at least like it's
mm,
close enough. Um, she is
I'd buy
wearing
it.
a flowing white dress that is sheer at the bottom and has kind of like crystals that look like they're just at the very edges, almost free floating because of the sheer nature of it.
Hmm.
Eyes that are slitted at the pupils like lizards. You see that she has a shield on her back with a symbol of a golden axe on a silver shield. And go ahead and give me a religion check with advantage.
Religion with advantage. Heard that.
Hey guys, because of how long you're waiting, if Nana rolls a nat 20, all of you can have an inspiration. Uh,
We'll see if that happens.
if Nana can
That
give us that nat
advantage did
20,
not help me much.
Be the
That
third
advantage
time in the
did not help me
campaign.
much.
nice.
It was insight, was it?
Religion.
I'm sorry, religion.
I was like, a
Eh,
much worse thing for you.
yeah, significantly worse and bad on the dice. That is only a 5.
Doesn't ring a bell for you.
Okay. Yeah.
You may ask questions about Pearl Overflood.
Pearl Overflood. Let me see. Um, so she appears to be a fighter. Does she appear to lean does she appear to have more strength than me?
What is your strength?
My
Oh, I
strength
don't
is
think you have to ask
10.
me. Yes, her strength is higher than yours.
Ah,
I
I
was like, I
gotcha.
take it back.
Yeah.
Yes, it is higher than yours.
Yeah, yeah. Now that makes sense. That makes sense. Let me think.
And as quick as
Mm.
on the draw as you can on these.
Yeah, no, I understand. Uh, does her level appear to be higher than mine? Or there? Her? There? Her?
Her. Uh, no.
Okay. Interesting.
And
Okay.
that's what you find out about Pearl.
Okay.
The next person who catches your attention is a very tall woman of about 7.5 feet, but like a very slender, almost wispy sort of build.
Ooh.
Um, she has a shaved head with runic tattoos going along the sides and almost like a crown pattern.
Oh.
She is wearing a tight fitting silver robe, and there's like a little slinky slit for her leg to go out. Uh, and she seems to be carrying a silver staff, very simple in appearance, but it has like varying geometric kind of shape to it,
Hmm.
intricate dowel, if you will. She is wearing 3 large rings, one blue, one red, one green.
Oh. Interesting.
This person would present to you, you think, as a Goliath.
Okay. Ooh. Interesting.
What are your questions about Saravan?
Saravan. This person. Did they strike me particularly as a mage or as a fighter? Do they seem to kind of cleave between?
You see that they are wielding a what looks to be magically inclined staff and do not have any armor
Hmm.
or other weapons on their person.
Okay. All
And they do
right.
not seem incredibly bulky.
Okay. All right.
And that's going to be one of your questions and your other question.
Uh-huh. My other question, um, what is their wisdom higher than mine?
And your wisdom is
14. Modifier
no.
plus 2. Huh. Interesting. Okay.
And one more person catches your eye. You also know that Tan is looking into people, but this is the last
Mm-hmm.
one to catch your eye as you slowly meander over to the lounge. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this person is a short frog like being, a
Ooh.
bullywug, orange and yellow with black. Um,
Ooh.
I almost read the same outfit again. So a tight fitting silver robe. No.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Classy.
Large, glossy, kind of bulging eyes. They
Mm-hmm.
are basically nude, besides like respectfully placed netting, ornate bracers depicting dancing bullywugs on them, and an ornate ring on one hand. But just little bullywug guy going about, seems to be having a good time. Does not have any weapons or armor on their person besides the bracers.
Hmm.
This is Toadenhole.
Toadenhole. All right.
What
Toadenhole.
would you like to know about
Got
Toadenhole?
bracers on him. And that seems to be the only weapon or armament, nothing
Yeah,
else.
just sticky little
Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't out rule out the possibility that he has something in storage, but if
Yes, they
that's
could
what he's
all
got
have something in
on,
storage.
yeah. What? Hmm. Does his dexterity seem higher than mine?
What's your dexterity?
16.
No.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Then in that case, his... does he seem to be a higher level than mine?
No.
Interesting. Okay.
And
Hmm.
those are the people that catch your eye. Welcome to People
Neat.
Nana Might Fight. Um,
Who? Who
um,
will it
so,
be?
So
Who will get the
hmm,
rose?
I
Mm.
I know how maybe silly Totenhole sounds, but the name in German is Death Hell, so be
Oh,
careful.
all right.
come on,
Noted.
guys, somebody fight Totenhole.
Oh God.
Somebody fight
He's
Death Hell.
please. He's just a little guy. He's definitely
He's
not named after a breakfast food. Fight him.
yeah.
he is
It'll be
he is
fine.
death hell. Come on, guys. Look at him. Um,
He's great.
but with
Love
that,
it.
Nana, you start sort of making mental notes of people you're like, all right, they're at least, I think I have a chance. And in your looking around, the thing is, you're trying not to punch down. So it's not
Yeah.
like anybody presented to you is going to be like a much lower level, unless you're like, that's what I'm doing and hoping for the best. But that
Mm,
could, these people seem to be up to par with you or above. That's where these people kind of sit.
in terms of like their actual
Abilities.
ability to fight.
Yes.
Okay.
These
Okay.
people seem
All
like
right.
an actual challenge across
Even
the
though they're
board.
not higher in level than I
Yeah.
am. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
None of them seem like pushovers. Depends how you feel about Toadenhole. But Toadenhole does have an energy about them where it's like, that bullywug knows what it's about. And that's really what's important is strength in here.
Yeah, exactly. It's
uh,
like Nana, if she did go for Toad and Hole, I feel like would lean into I want to see what you've got.
show me what you've got,
No, I'm
Toadenhole.
interested. I'm interested. You
The
seem like
hells
you know what
break
you're
open
about.
beneath them. Um, but with that,
Nana, dead.
Nana continues her walk confidently across the grounds. Roshan, you are making your way arm in arm with Ellie into the lounge where she has just loudly said that she'll fight anyone. And you're like, yeah, I'm not nervous about that at all. And stand your ground and also look intimidating as best you can. And after nobody really pays you any mind, you're like, okay. And both of you continue into the space. Different, like, smoky smells mixed with a smell that is like incredibly sweet and also a burnt smell. So there's a bunch of smells in this place. None of them immediately unpleasant, but nonetheless apparent. Uh, you can see now that you step further into the space. It's almost like these fake windows come into focus. Each one sort of in line with a lounging area of couches and chairs or cushions, and they each look out into a different place that you think's on the continent. One of them looks out to a beautiful snow-covered field. One of them towards, from a distance, towards beautiful gem-toned trees of the Forest of Eden. One towards the mountain line of the Valley of Odin. Just these beautiful scapes that that look like as if you were there standing in front of them. And people have set up shop and are talking and smoking and drinking. You can see in front of some places it looks like there are these large cast iron pots full of coals, which people are ladling some liquid into, and then lean forward and seem to inhale the vapors that come out of it. You can also see that there is a person walking around with a tray, and it almost looks like a discus of caramelized sugar that was like broken into multiple pieces, and people take from that and put it into their mouths and seem to be having quite a good time. Ellie's looking around looking for a seat. Roshan, you get the physical feeling, like the physical feeling in your mind of almost like somebody's knocking politely at the door, and you recognize the feeling of the shadow trying to interact.
Well, now Roshan doesn't need to open his mouth to talk to the shadow, I think.
There you go.
So he'll start talking to the shadow in his mind and trying to physically be attentive to Ellie and offer to get her a drink once she finds a seat, or
Mm.
if I could wrangle any of the other drugs around here for her.
Milady requests a drug, please. Um,
One crack rock, please.
please, one shard of crack for the lady. Um, but
I would like one pot to smoke.
thank you. Um, a voice kind of gingerly presses into your mind, seemingly like they don't seem to feel good about confronting you here about anything or just talking to you here. I had a question that I wanted to ask while you had a moment.
Uh, um, if you wait for me to get Ellie settled, uh, I'll find a quieter place to ponder your question.
Um, it is a yes or no. It is not something deep as you have requested for me to find of myself, but I can wait for a moment.
Um, yeah, so I think Roshan will uh, get Ellie settled and um, survey the room and ask, "Do you mind if I slip away for just a bit? I'm sure I'll see you again tonight."
You see that she's already taken like a ladle out of one of these pots and is like halfway to pouring it over. Oh, you do whatever the fuck you want to. I'm going to get incredibly fucked up.
Enjoy. Do an extra one for me.
If you insist, and then like pours it over the coals and like does like a deep inhale of this steam that comes out, and you just kind of step away from that.
Yeah, I think Roshan will exit the building and uh, I think he'll just start wandering among the art and then reach back out to the shadow and say, "What is it that you wanted to ask?"
Um, and by Roshan wanders about the art, Roshan goes out into the main area and walks about the people that are nude and placed in lounging or intricate or sexual artistic positions and frozen like statues in time. And you casually walk through this space and you hear the voice in your mind, the presence coming back to you. I am confident in my mental state, but I have only had it for so long now, and I do not want to cause you trouble. So, I don't know what is going to happen here, if it will be something that will affect me emotionally. I want to know if you think I should be elsewhere. Neither answer will hurt my feelings.
Do you feel that if we were to meet someone again, that uh, the black backlash would be as strong?
I do not think it would be the same, but since we have lost Fenrir, we have not encountered something of that degree, and I cannot answer in a way that is 100% sure. That's why I ask you. I will be close enough to come if you need me, but I will be distant enough if something were to happen to me.
If you need to cycle your backlash, would you come to me instead of one of my compatriots?
Honestly, speaking as honestly as I can, I would tell you, but I would not hurt you.
Um, I think Roshan just wanders for a good few minutes after that.
Mhm.
And then says, then I think you should go. How can how can I tell you if I need you?
I will feel it. I value your opinion on this. It is hard to. I only have my perspective, and I can't see everything that I am, but you see how it affects the world. I will keep my distance. I will come if you need me.
Thank you.
And there is no gust of wind, but there is this like a gentle push against your body as if something like walked through it and just went on its way. No malice, no hurt feelings, a sense of understanding.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
quiet for Roshan,
Mm-hmm.
quieter than it usually is.
And Keld and Nyx, you see Roshan outside, sort of now wandering the path. Do you want to approach Roshan, or are you like, we're going to the lounge, baby?
I think we were going to the lounge.
This guy can wander outside if he wants to. He
That's
still sucks.
not my job. If he was in the lounge, that'd be different, but he's not.
Hild
So
will
this
see if
is
he can
fine.
catch Roshan's eye, but
Rashawn. Rashawn. I'm the really tall guy over here.
yeah.
Roshan, it's easy enough to see that two of your companions are making their way to the lounge. So it's up to you if you want to join or continue enjoying the fresh air.
I think he'll wave and then see Nyx going into the lounge and not test her patience and stay away.
Hmm.
Like half a step forward and then like,
Oh.
you know what, actually. And you continue to wander the grounds, avoiding going in a second time to the lounge at this time. Meanwhile, Big Pot and Little Pot make their way into an area where you see these beautiful windows and these strange smells. It is pretty easy to tell a lot of the people in here um, are not the most present.
Hmm.
It seems the
I see.
people um, there are more comfortable and longer lounging situations by these like steam rocks, and you see people taking use of that and like very much fainting couch into these positions to be comfortable. You also see a table that just has a bunch of empty glassware on it, and Russ sort of like scoops one of your arms with his and like turns you in that direction. All right, this is what I was talking about earlier, and like leads you over to the table.
Okay.
All right,
I grabbed Kel with the other arm, though. He's coming with.
the three of you go this way. All right. So place your hand on one of the cups
Okay.
and say what you want within reason.
I don't know. Just questioningly puts her hand. Juice.
There is a pause as if something on the other end is like, I got juice with a question mark, boys. What do you think? And you are presented with a purpley red liquid that appears in the cup you are touching.
Okay. Down and wondering.
For the brief moment that it's in your mouth, you're like, maybe like a grape. You're like, it's like if wine had like a less fun cousin. You know, that's the energy of this juice in particular.
Is it like
British
sparkling grape
habits?
juice?
Russ is like, if you tell him you want it to be like fancy and sparkling,
Bubbly.
you could get him to do it.
Ah. Juice with bubbles.
Yeah.
Boys, it's juice with a question mark again, but it says bubbles. And you are presented with a similar color, but you do see a bit of what looks vaguely like carbonation.
Man. I think she just do that a few times to have different colored options.
Yeah, but like an orangier juice. Yeah, but what if
But
the
still
juice...
with bubbles.
What if this one's pink? I don't know.
Pink juice,
Yeah.
please. And you are presented with juices that fit the criteria that you are presenting. Russ seems pretty proud of himself. He didn't do anything, but he did bring you over here, and he feels like he accomplished something with that.
He sure did. He should
He
be
did.
proud.
He helped.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to ask for personally. Ooh, Keld, I have something for you. And reaches
Can you
forward.
ask for things that aren't drinks?
Like what?
I've never tried. And he like leans in close to the cup and like whispers something to it. And you watch as it fills with like a dark liquid that seems to be like hot. And you watch bloop bloop as like a little marshmallow pops to the top. Well, I guess if they can put a marshmallow in it, they could probably, and like hands you a hot chocolate, Keld.
That's
Oh,
so
wow.
good.
No, I want one of those instead. Plus all the juice with that.
Oh my god. Fuck
Just
all that. Give me hot chocolate.
You get juice at the bars.
Yeah, you guys are welcome to spend time just playing at the drink table, which people do side-eye you a little bit, but then look at Russ and then stop side-eyeing you and keep going. Not very open to staring that long in that way in Russ's direction.
What were you saying, Russ?
I don't remember. I got caught up in the hot chocolate. If I was going to say something, it takes a sip from it. So, all right. Let me tell you about the lounge, and then we can decide what we're doing if you want to. So, there at the tables, the steam. That's more of a mellow you out situation, and then what the waiters are carrying around. That's more of a pep you up sort of thing. But like if you put euphoria on top of all of that. I have to do the pep up one. So I'm just seeing if either of you were interested in that or the other one. I can't do the other one.
Well, the one looks like candy.
It almost tastes like candy. It makes you like if you think really hard candy in your head, it almost tastes like candy.
I gotta try that. Do we get to sit down still though?
Oh yeah, we can sit down.
That's only for the rock people.
No, they can share. And they go over and he looks at you. Keld, are you trying something or are you just supervising?
I can supervise.
Okay.
Suit yourself.
Okay, Keld, if you see Roshan walk in here, he's not allowed.
Why isn't
Not
Roshan
allowed in here.
They both lean
there's
in.
there's something called onset that and I think it's related to drugs, and he's not allowed to have it, and I don't know if that's in here, so he's just not allowed in this room.
Oh,
Understood.
Hmm.
I know you were talking to Kel, but I will also physically remove him from the room if you want me to.
That would help.
All right.
if he wants a drink, we can bring him a drink.
There's drinks everywhere.
Yeah.
Not this room.
See, I don't. He's like looking around. I don't think we have an onset situation in here, but you know,
Okay.
drugs are drugs.
Hmm.
And find you all a nice place to sit near an old woman in a poncho with a cow embroidered on it, who seems incredibly comfortable. She does not know the three of y'all, but sees you walk over, and she's like, "Yeah, sit here, fathers." And just kind of like, just very casually, still smoking, and like now has a drink also. Ellie came here to really party. And all of you sit down, and eventually a tray is brought over, and Russ takes out like a tongue-sized piece,
Hmm.
and then reaches in and gets one that's about a third of the size and hands it to you.
Okay. She'll take it.
Scooch.
Yeah, I would let it like dissolve and like get some like under your tongue when it like starts to like become liquid and stuff like that. If you chew it, it'll start to get stuck in your teeth. That's probably why it's so quiet in here, because everybody's
They all chewed on it instant.
Yeah. And just fully places it like flat on his tongue and just like oh, and just kind of has to sit there kind of quietly for a moment, trying not to chew on this. And Nyx, you're partaking?
Oh yeah. Why not? It's right there.
It for a second, because your brain is like candy.
Mhm.
You can almost taste the sweetness in it, almost, but it tastes more like burnt alcohol. Like if you took a log from the fire and just put it straight into your alcohol and was like, this is a drink I'm drinking. That's like the taste that comes to mind. It's unpleasant, and then sometimes you hit the sweet a little bit and like are like, no. And it's not the funnest experience, but all of you get comfortable, and it takes about 15 minutes, and you feel amazing. It feels great. With the inability that you've had to be drunk for an extended period of time, unclear why to you, but this feels really good. Like your body feels relaxed and comfortable, but also like you could get up and accomplish something. And there's just a buzz across the back of your skull, and just a wide-eyed, beautiful look at one of these windows, and it is gorgeous. This is great.
She can do anything.
You can see Russ's pupils are blown fucking wide. You can only assume yours are too. Keld, you're just sort of watching the proceedings of this as you watch them slowly get higher and go from
How
like
are we
a more-
feeling?
I feel fucking great.
Do you see this window, Keld?
Keld, look at the
Take a
window.
look.
Keld, look
I
at
see it.
Like, trying to turn him to it. But look.
And it's a beautiful picture of the shoreline, which is actively in motion. You're watching the waves hit across the shore, recede, and again and again. We picked a good one. This is a good one.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna try and touch the water.
You run your hand over like what feels like smooth glass, but it does seem to give a little bit. And Russ is like, "Don't do it. He'll be trapped forever." I don't know if that's true. Somebody told me that once, and I'm not positive. But
I don't want to be trapped forever alone, so I'll
don't do it.
Couple of
Yikes.
Keld, are you sure that you're not? You know, you could do the steam. The steam is a blast. I can't do the steam though because it's hard to fight.
What do you mean?
Well, it kind of like it makes you feel a little jelly, you know. And the thing is, I'm pretty good at like it's a lackadaisical, kind of look to me, but like it's all muscle. I can't have the muscles just give up.
Hmm.
I mean, it's right there.
You see
Maybe
this
I'll
older
try.
woman next to you like look over, and she does like she looks like she's about to do a full pour and then like put some of it back into the bucket, and then like looks at you like, all right, me and you, kid, and pours the steam in, and you lean forward and inhale deeply from it. And what a comfortable kind of earthy, leafy sort of scent.
Hmm.
Not too heavy on the inhale. It's almost like a foggy day, like a really hot foggy day. Um, and after you do
Steamy.
that, meandering into the space after sleuthing is Nana, who comes in and sees everybody getting fucked up on this couch. And
Did I
you
see
see
Roshan coming in, or was he like kind of off on his
Roshan
own?
seemed to be meandering elsewhere at this
Okay.
time, if I'm correct.
Okay.
But you come in and see some of your friends and Ellie, who like pops back up after inhaling deeply.
Well, interesting. Seems like folks are already sort of getting acquainted, and I'll head over in the direction of the party and Ellie. They're kind of in the same neck of the woods, yeah?
Oh yeah, they're sitting
Yeah,
at like the same
same.
couch.
Cool. Got it.
Start pulling people. Sit down with us, Nana.
Oh, all right. What's going on?
Well, shit, your hair looks great. See, it was my
Oh.
vision in the first place to cut it shorter, and now here you are, fucking rocking it and looking amazing.
Oh, Ellie, you're so nice. Thank you.
That nobody says that. That's a
I-
lie.
It's you were very kind to me, and I appreciated it. Keld, Nix, Russ, this is Ellie. Ellie, we met across the hammer. We were traveling together for a little space.
I was smuggling things inside of a statue. And Russ is like, oh, that's fun.
That makes sense,
Probably
actually,
good
in
spot for it.
retrospect.
See, nobody
Yeah.
ever looks inside of like a nice work of art because they're like, that's rude to just like bash it open, and they're stupid. So, what are you going
Well,
to do?
there you are.
Ellie has slowly started sinking back like into the cushions and is just like almost fully like back on the like bottom cushion, like almost fully slunk all the way down.
Do you want a little adjustment, or are you comfortable?
No, I'm. And there's just a long pause and nothing.
I think you're okay, huh?
She's perfectly fine. Did you want to try something, Nana? Did you come in here to do something?
Actually, probably kind of. Yeah. Yeah, I
High
think so.
energy, low energy. That's sort of the vibe. I usually don't think about them in more detail
I
than
wasn't
that.
sure where that was going to end.
Mm.
I don't know. God. I suppose if I'm gonna be looking around for more combatants, then high energy probably.
All right. And Russ gets you a piece from one of the trays.
Okay.
And gives you the spiel of don't chew it.
Don't,
Bad idea.
Just on the tongue.
Yeah, on the
no.
tongue. Swirl
It works
around.
better. Yeah, it worked well that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
All
just,
right, I'll trust you.
a moment of silence, and Keld, it's been forever. How long have you been sitting here? You're fine with it. It's chill. But time is sort of dilated in a strange way, and you feel very comfortable. A strange, like, a tenseness that you did not know was there dissipates. And you're
Now
like,
that I'm a little more comfortable, can I sort of just browse around at whoever else is around me?
sure. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Maybe if I recognize anyone, or if
Let's see. Does Keld recognize anyone?
chances are probably low, but
Give me a perception check, and I hate to do it to him with disadvantage.
damn.
The other drug, though, different story.
You said a perception?
Yeah.
6.
Nice.
Oh, Oh,
Well,
buddy.
Kel, there are a lot of beautiful people here. And
Hmm.
you
Mm.
spend, you're not sure how long, but you begin a journey of looking at each individual person. And eventually it gets to a person you're like, wow, this person's so close. And like Thor is like crouched in front of you. Holy shit, look at him.
Oh, I know you.
Hey there, bud. How you doing?
Doing good.
You look good. And she like pats your cheek a little bit.
Aw.
And it almost goes like, blah, 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 blah. Like you almost can hear the echo of it in your mind. And she gets comfortable next to you guys, and the other two ladies kind of jump down onto the cushions. Well, now that I don't have to fight, well, I could fight somebody, I guess, but now that I don't have to, I guess I could party.
Endless possibilities.
Yeah. I'll get on whatever level you're getting on. And
Hmm.
the ladies go in for a steam treatment and are going to join Keld wherever he is.
Nice. They're
Spiritualist.
coming to my level.
Please join me here in this place. But everyone gets comfortable or pretty amped. It's a strange, very obvious difference between half of the party at this time, who is very chill, and the rest who are not. But speaking of drugs, let's go to where there are no drugs currently, is across the courtyard over to Fen, who is walking arm in arm with Corrine, the hostess, in her beautiful red dress, where the back panel is completely made of pearls. Um, Kind of gently curled blonde hair, red lipstick, dark eye makeup, and a simple pearl necklace. And she walks with you, and she kind of like looks back over your shoulder and then like looks to you. Is is Nana okay? She seemed, I don't know.
I'm not sure. She seemed all right. She's probably just getting acclimatized. This is not exactly our uh, natural environ, as
Hmm.
it were. The widow, what will happen to her?
Oh, what a situation. She'll be turned over to the proper authorities and will be handled in that way. The I certainly won't be hiring her again, but based on what I know of Torment, he wouldn't be pressing charges or trying to pursue anything further. So I think it should work out as best as it can in her favor.
And he slew her husband.
I can only assume, or that is her assumption.
And you don't know anything of the circumstance, whether it was a worthy death, a good death, or whether he was
I
even a combatant.
I haven't the foggiest idea. I'm sorry.
All right, it's fine. I just curious. It seemed to not come from nowhere. She was obviously grieving. And
They usually are. That's and I've seen them angry before, certainly. But I'm glad she had the opportunity.
I'm, without knowing more, I can only say that hopefully she got out whatever she needed to.
Here's hoping. And if anyone asks, can you please tell them that this was a planned thing?
Oh, I didn't realize it was a planned thing. Yeah, of course.
Thank you. It definitely spicing it up a bit from last year, and she smiles as she escorts you into the dance hall. Um, I'm sorry. I really should be focusing more on the party, but those things back to back have me a bit rattled. Have your friends said anything about me, or have they been acting strange?
Oh, I about you specifically? No, um,
Do
they
they
have
seem
been.
strange?
They they seem to think I'm a bit taken with you, and
Hmm.
I'd be being dishonest if I said that I wasn't. I'm am quite fond of you and uh, impressed by the event that you've prepared here, and taken by your generosity. And I think the incident with the rats and the big
Mm.
stone monsters and the I think some charm coming off of the ring that you quite rightly told me not to wear. Um, uh,
Oh, I
I
see.
think it just gave them the wrong impression.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Thank you for telling me. I was getting in my own head about it.
Oh, it's they're fine. We've been through quite a bit more than this.
Hmm.
They've warm beds to sleep in tonight with, which is more than we can say for much of our past several months.
Well, for a moment, we should try at least to have a good time, I think. Um, have you ever danced in a ballroom setting?
No, usually around a campfire. We've got several seasonal festivals.
As you're talking, she's like moving your hands and like places one of your hands at her side and then like places your hands together here and she places a hand up on the side of your arm. Right. Uh-huh. Um I'm going to lead at the beginning until you get the hang of it. We're going to go very slow. Just do your best and relax.
Okay, this is bringing back some memories. Hopefully, this is a bit warmer.
And
Warmer
starts
encounter.
and she sort of kind of pushes against you in your arm, like gives a little, and she's like, no, no, resist. Push against my arm. And the two of you slowly begin to dance around the room, the music still inviting. And she kind of looks over. Well, I'm glad Alder perked up. It would have been terrible if that all happened while he was wailing. And continues to just very slow. It's more of a walk at this point, but a walk in unison where she maintains eye contact with you and smiles.
Is he an old friend of yours?
Well, the thing is, I knew him from quite a while ago. I was a fan, and then he just disappeared in the blink of an eye. And well, everyone was sure he was dead, and something in me said, you have to find him. He's not. And I was right. Um, and I asked him very nicely if he'd like to perform. He didn't say no, but I don't think I've ever heard Alder say yes to anything, but he showed up of his own accord. So I suppose
Did you
that's a yes.
find him strapped to a chair with his limbs removed under a mountain somewhere?
I did find him in a cave setting, yes.
Huh.
Um,
Reminds me of a
but
bard I knew.
very much for his own wants, which who am I to judge? Who am I to say what one should or should not want?
You really know all of these people here, or they just some of them invitations through others, or
Well, there's the plus ones. I don't know all of them, but to an extent, I know every ticket holder here. Yes, in some way. Some people maybe just through reputation, but I eventually will get to know them, and then hopefully they come back next year.
barely keep straight the towns that I've visited, let alone this many faces, names to go with them.
It is it is a gift. I have been given a very special gift to be in this position, and everyone
Uh,
here has been given quite the gift to be in this position.
I I feel quite gifted to be here with you, and I appreciate it.
And she smiles at you and gives you a little kiss, like right on like the apple of the cheek, and smiles, and then like looks over And the smile remains, but it's a different smile. It changes ever so slightly. And you can hear the approaching of feet, and you see a man in a dark, wide brimmed hat, no fringe like Roshan's, just very classic, very simple. A black suit, white button up underneath, and blonde hair that goes in kind of about to the shoulder length, and large mutton chops, kind of a chin strap combo that goes around under the chin. Uh, Comes over, and you see as he waves a hand, you can see that his cufflinks are pearls. And he comes over, and Corrine looks to you. You can stay. Just, we have to talk really quick, but I don't mind if you're here. Yes, darling. And you recognize this man. This is the person that Eagle was having a conversation with when you first arrived at the fancy inn. You remember him as Otis. And he steps in, and now the three of you are sort of in a kind of a triangle standing position where she is still holding you in like a dancing position, but has gone like to put her hand on your shoulder and like in a more relaxed sort of position to talk. How did it go? Did you speak to Torment? I did. I went and spoke to him, and wouldn't you believe, not much to say. And he does like sort of a lazy smile. Uh, Seems unbothered. I promised assistance if he requested it. Didn't seem interested. But we're keeping an eye on him. Won't let anyone heal him. Kinda bleeding on things. So, what do you think? And Corrine thinks for a moment. Fen, darling, do you have abilities to heal? I feel like you helped me when we were dealing with that rat problem.
I do. I'm not an expert of by any means, but it's good enough.
Um, would you do me a favor? Torment is a very proud man who is not much for words and not much for help. If you were able to, without his knowledge, heal him, I would be very appreciative. And if you were to be caught, it was your own idea.
Understood. Proud men often don't like to be touched without permission, but I think this is within my realm of doings. Should be no problem.
Thank you. I'm just a little frazzled because I suppose our little stunt went a bit far when there's dignitaries from the Underdark showing up today. Um, sometimes the theater gets away from you. Maybe a bit too much. Um, Thank you, Otis. And they look at each other for a long, intimate moment. And then it seems they just sort of pull away from each other, and he walks off, and her focus goes immediately back to you. How about we do one more dance? And then I trust you to make sure Torment does not bleed all over my party.
As you wish.
Thank you. And she once again picks your hand up and places it against hers. And the two of you continue to dance for one more song. And that is where we are going to take our break. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. We're going to take a little break. So go get a snack and a drink. And we will see you guys in 10 minutes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 152 of On the Backs of Gods. We just took our 10-minute break. The party is partying, and a lot of the party is a bit toasty, and their own special variety of toasty. One of them has just been given the task, a very kind, polite task of please go heal the man who is bleeding all over the place, because he won't let anyone just walk up and heal him. So Fen has that in the back of his mind. However, he decides to go about that. The only guideline was don't get caught, and if you do, it was your idea. Not my idea. Don't tell anybody it was my idea. I'm busy doing party stuff. And after one more dance, with like a bit of a. There is a lovelorn look as Corrine seems to want to keep dancing. But has to separate. She's hosting. She has to work. And she is off on her way. Fen, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try to find my friends.
Makes sense to me. Go ahead and give me. I'm going to give you the gambit on this. You can give me perception, or you can give me survival, which I think is infinitely funnier. So please pick. Which one would you like?
They are the same roll for me. So
So it's survival.
let's go survival. That is a 23.
And you approach the cobblestones and look at all the little marks in the ground. It's like heels. Yes, there's so many heels. But these heels next to those, next to them, like it's like it's like I'm figuring out. And then Russ's voice carries.
Looking for Nick's drips from Nick's sweating. Like.
Yeah, you're like, this place, I'm figuring it out. And it is not hard to find people. You figure that a group of them are at least in the lounge. Roshan, did you do anything else in this time? Or are you just meandering? Or was there another goal in mind?
I think Roshan was going to just people watch outside, and then if he didn't find any interesting enough people, then he would head back over to the dance floor to see if Alder was still performing, or if maybe he could get a word in.
Okay. So, Fen, Roshan, you guys kind of clockwise away from each other. But you are able to find Nyx, Keld, and Nana.
Hi, folks. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
I'm having a
Do-
pretty good time.
Yeah.
Keld's delayed reaction.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I have to do a thing, and I don't know how it's going to go. It might end up with a fight.
Oh.
What kind of thing are we doing?
It should be a good thing. It should be a very nice thing.
Okay.
Then why
But it
would
might
it?
end up a fight regardless.
Oh.
But why?
Because it's to a bad person who is going to be pretty shitty about it if he knows I do it. So my thought was, would you mind if I had the ring? And Nyx, can you put a whole bunch of fairy fire in it, please?
I didn't get to really use it before, but I mean, if it's possible to put something else in there, then yeah, go ahead.
What?
Yep.
So you're gonna go do a nice thing and then fight the person?
I hope I don't have to fight, but if I do,
Okay.
Better
I might
be
need it.
safe than sorry.
yeah. Also, Nana, you're not going to fight tonight because you're in no condition to do so.
We have all the energy. We're great.
all the time. This is actually usually I'm a lot more fucked up.
You're
when I
all
fight.
talking at the same time,
Oh.
except for Kel, who's not talking at all.
I was like, I could fight like just right at the tail end.
I'm not planning to fight anybody tonight. Tonight is for reconnoitering. I've got a few people in mind. I'm cogitating on them.
All right.
How many
Anyhow,
fairy fires do you want?
Uh, as many as it'll hold.
You want
honestly.
5 of them. Got it.
That's the
Mm.
thing that's probably going to help me the most of
Hmm.
anything I can think of, if that was a thing that happened. Which I hope is not. I hope we can go back to the room and put down whatever spells Nonna will need when her thing comes up.
I'm really
Right,
trying to
right.
like put like the info together in my
Yeah,
brain.
I've
And
I
also
have-
been
don't know what's
I really
happening.
thought I'd get there by the end, and I didn't.
Who are you helping?
There's a
Yeah,
dude
it's-
that's been there's a man who's been stabbed and he's bleeding
Oh yeah, we
everywhere.
saw. We saw.
Yeah, and he's
Oh.
refusing medical help, but he's making a mess.
Hmm.
And you were asked to
Maybe
to,
there's a
to give him
bucket?
a little tap and
You
heal
asked
him
to
up.
give him a
Yeah,
bucket?
which again I can be quite sneaky, as you're aware.
Yeah, of course. You're sneakier than the lot of us.
But what if I could put a healing spell in there that you don't gotta touch him?
All right, put one of those in there and then put fairy fire in just in case for the rest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
One
Ranged-
healing word.
I was sitting here in my brain like, you could put a ranged one, but I love
I
when Ben
know.
has to just like warm up his hands and go just like slap this man on the ass and run. I was just like, wow.
I believe in that. Oh God.
Run like the wind.
So you're putting one distance healing spell and then
Yeah.
the rest hit
The rest
fairy fire.
fairy.
Yeah.
What a fun combo of things inside of the ring.
For the just in case and for the all we hope we need.
So one healing spell, 4 fairy fires.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, I wish you the best. Honestly, I'd step in for you, but like, I'm not allowed to.
Russ, I'm
Mm.
don't need anyone to step in for me. I'm perfectly capable of handling my own if it comes to that. The idea is
I
to
will
make the
pick
man.
your beautiful corpse up off of the ground, and I will kiss you once on the mouth, and then I will let your spirit go.
resurrect you right away.
Oh, I mean, we will resurrect you.
Yeah, I feel like that's
Make that
probably
be-
the better way to go.
Oh,
We've
you shouldn't do
got
that
something for
here
that.
unless it's like an agreed
No.
upon thing. If it's to the death, you should like.
Oh.
If you do it right after, people get pissed.
Oh, it
You
does
can
take
do
the
it, but,
dramatic
like-
tension right out of
So,
the
like, you can
fight
do like a
then.
resurrection spell like after.
Uh,
Like if you drag their corpse out of the party and then but usually that's
quietly
big
off
fancy
to
shit
one
that a lot of
side.
people don't just carry around. But rich people can almost do whatever they want, but sometimes people just die.
I would hope that if this man turned to violence, it wouldn't be that degree of violence over me trying to get him to stop bleeding all over this party.
Well, I've never heard Torment say a damn thing in my life, so maybe he doesn't have the words to say, I want to fight. So you might be good.
All right, that's fine. I just want to be prepared. I'm a man of preparation.
Do you want another pair of eyes? I'll go with you if you want another pair of eyes.
Has anyone seen Roshan?
He's not allowed in here. We don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
There's no onset.
Forbidden.
From what we understand.
I do
but-
I do have the headcanon now that this has 100% been spread to everybody in this room.
Yeah,
And
it's
now
like-
everyone
it's
in this
come
room is
around.
at least aware. Probably some randos
Oh, yeah.
are also aware.
Oh,
they're
no.
like, this man's not allowed in
This
here.
man's not allowed in
We-
here.
we
know
are
this.
his friends, and he's
And now
not
we
allowed.
all know.
Wow.
We are being a team of solidarity for him.
I wasn't told to keep it a secret.
At this point, Fen might be putting 2 and 2 together because he has no idea that Roshan has ever had a substance abuse
Yeah.
problem ever.
No,
It's-
none whatsoever. Then
But also he has a mission, so he's like, all right, let me put that in my pocket.
We'll remember that
That-
for later.
that will be processed during meditation later.
We left the bag of holding outside. I need more compartments.
The bag of
no.
holding is like sitting like under somebody's bed or in like a bush somewhere. I don't know what y'all did with it, but it's in a bush
I
somewhere.
think we left it. I think we left it at the room.
You guys don't want to put it in the extra dimensional space where this guy's storing everything else? You guys don't want to do that?
No.
No, I don't
Alright,
feel like
I guess.
generating
Very
a
much
black
not.
hole. Thanks.
Fine.
I
So-
would ruin your party, Jillian.
Well,
Spice it
I'd
up.
work with it. I'd work with a city no longer existing.
Holy shit.
But nonetheless, It exists, and we're all here, and the bag of holding is like under a pillow at home. And Fen, you have your ring. You're ready
All right,
to go.
Nana, you can come with me as long as you're on your best behavior.
When am I ever not on my best behavior?
You're
Come
just
on.
slurring quite a bit, that's all.
She's fine.
I just feel nice.
We're all
I just
fine.
feel
I'm
nice.
not-
I
I
just feel
want you-
like I can't keep up with you.
I
All
want
of
you to
you
have
are
fun.
harshing my mellow hello, Fen.
Oh,
Ellie's
Ellie.
like fully on the ground now. so
Ellie,
she's
when
just like
did you
wailing.
say-
She
Yeah.
did not want to be
Mhm.
picked up.
Has Athumel been sitting here the whole time too? Am I just been sitting
No,
in
Athumel
Thumula's
was
presence?
been like
outside.
outside, so
Okay.
he's not the easiest.
Chewing
to
on
spot.
that champagne grass.
I love
Yeah.
champagne, Chris.
Ellie, I didn't
Bubbly
even notice you there.
grass.
How,
It's all
how
right.
have you been?
I've honestly been living my best life, though I am short on coin because I have to keep hiring mercenaries to follow me around because everything's dangerous or whatever. But I'm doing pretty good, rolling in it. Rolling in it.
She's been doing very well for herself, from
Rolling
what
it.
I've heard.
Well, it's lovely to see you. Hopefully we get the chance to catch up and I'm not dead later.
Oh, that's good. This is a really good angle for all of you, honestly. Like it should be a bad one, but like all of you look great, and I'm so proud of you.
Goodness. Ellie, you're gonna flatter us to death.
She smokes and tries to drink from her prone position.
At the same time. Just be careful you don't light none of that on fire, okay?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Takes a
It's
long
fine.
saying.
I've got water. It's
Uh,
fine.
Yeah, look
Okay,
at
all
her.
right. Nix,
I've-
you spot her. It'll be fine.
We're helping each other.
Yes, that's how you do.
And
Exactly.
all right, Fen, you're off to begin your mission.
Yeah, Nana, you coming with me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm coming along wherever you want to like place me, just as a
Nix.
lookout or whatever.
Nix, how far does this work from?
Should be 60 feet. Yeah.
All right. Nana, maybe you could just talk to him. Tell him you recognize him. Tell him that your brother worked with him or something at some point. Or not, whatever.
I feel like, I don't know if he'd No, I don't. I doubt he'd recognize me unless I looked enough like Ave. I don't know. I'll see how I feel when we get there.
All right, that's fine. It would go in with no plan. You know how I love to do that. Let's go.
I'm not the biggest fan, but I don't know what else to do about it.
And the two of you are off. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people in armor. So it's kind of a bit of a watching and waiting game as you make your way casually about the place. And then you hear, Torment, this is your third pass. You look like shit. I'm not trying to be rude. I'll heal you and I won't say anything. Oh, okay. Keep walking, Zen. And you can see Calendula just kind of like lean back into their seat as Torment continues to walk by without a word. And just a very exuberant shrug from Calendula, who goes back into their seat and then seems to be talking to the people that comprise their outfit. So you guys found him. He's walking.
Yeah, he's walking. Seems like he's taken up the widow's spot, but it's just the whole party.
Yeah.
So,
Seems-
do you want to just like lay in place somewhere, wait for him to come back round, or do you want to try and get out ahead of him? Do you want me to stop him? What?
When he passed Calendula, did he like look at him, or did he just like not break
He
his
just
gaze?
kept walking. He did
All
not
right.
avert. He's just walking forward.
All right. I can't tell if this man is incredibly attentive or incredibly dense. This makes it more difficult. You wanna? I don't know, Nana. I'm open to ideas. You could just spill a drink on him. He was stabbed and didn't do anything.
It's true. I feel rather like that will come across as a dual challenge coming from somebody who is a second. It's
Alright.
just, it'd be a quick jump, I think, from
Alright.
drink to fight me.
All right. Well, let me find I'm gonna like scope out the path he's been walking, and
Mhm.
find a dark corner, and do what Fen does, and fade into the darkness.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead and roll me some stealth. Just for the people at the table, for for information. He presents as a human.
All right. That is a 28.
Okay, I'll make note. Well, Fen goes and gets probably comfortable in setting, uncomfortable in positioning. And Nana, it's up to you to stop this man within 60 feet to the best of your
Okay.
abilities.
All right. So I saw about where Fen melded into the shadows.
Yeah.
Is there a way that I can kind of eyeball a spot along Torment's existing trajectory? I'm sure there's like drips of blood where he's been walking, so it's probably pretty obvious. Can I spot an intersecting point that's about
It
60
seems
feet away?
doable. He would be available for a couple. You'd have to get him to stop at least for half a second.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I can at least attempt to like post up nearby and sort of the intent will be to come across as just like I'm a new second and you seem like an
He's
experienced
approaching.
warrior. All right, that's going to be my approach as he's coming in. I think like 5ish feet before like the start of the intersecting point in his route. Nana will kind of step up, just say, I don't believe we've spoken, but I think your name's Torment. I understand you're a fierce fighter. It's my first year being a second. I wondered if you had any suggestions.
You can either roll me. What would you think you should roll in this situation to stop this immovable object?
To stop this immovable object, I think I would be leaning into deception in order to maintain like just
Okay.
a super neutral approach with the guy.
Go for it. Insight.
It's not great on the dice. It's a total of 10.
When you get in front of him, you know that you got to hold him here for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
That is the dream. The dream is
Yeah,
that Fen
that's-
gets the whole 6 seconds and doesn't have to like lean and try to finish the spell. And when you look at this man, still tall and imposing, just wearing this heavy plate armor, helmet under his arm, there's just the huge gash in the metal that goes from the helmet to the chest. And he stops. It seems like a hesitant sort of like there was the intent to keep moving, but something stopped him for just a moment. He looks awful.
Ooh, boy.
He looks pale. You can see some sweat around the brow. He looks sickly.
Yeah.
And he looks at you and he stops for a moment. And then he is going to continue just walking past you. Fen, he is going to, when he feels magic begin to heal him, he is going to make a perception check. He takes a step and then fully stops again, Nana, next to you. So now you are shoulder to elbow with this man.
Okay.
And he is going to roll a perception check.
Are you all right, sir?
and he keeps walking.
Okay.
From what you're able to glance, doesn't seem like there's like any fresh blood leaving the wound. So the wound seems to be healed, and he keeps
good.
walking.
Okay.
A
He's
little
not
bit
bleeding
like-
anymore.
I'm going. But he does hold your eye contact when you stopped him,
Okay.
and then he just goes.
Hmm.
And you can see now from your positioning that there's like the people that helped clean up people after the duels.
Mm-hmm.
There's people like casually going up to like blood drops and like kind of fizzling them out of existence with a bit of cleaning.
Prestidigitation.
So there's not just blood all over the ground.
Yeah.
Even in
Mhm.
like small amounts. Still, you don't need somebody to be like, well, it got on my train on my dress, and now I'm upset.
Oh. Can't have
So you're there, and both of you are like, oh shit, we did it.
Shit.
Mission accomplished.
Okay, Nana's just gonna keep it chill and probably make her way opposite the direction that Torment was walking, just so that she doesn't accidentally wind up right up against him again. But she's kind of like meandering and at such a pace that Fen could catch up with her pretty easy.
Yeah, Fenn's gonna chill in the darkness for a while. He'll probably meet
Mm-hmm.
Nana back at the drug room.
As you take time to be like in your element inside of things that are not your element.
I do want to watch him while I do this, though.
Yeah,
Kind of
you can
observe
roll
this
insight.
guy. Sure.
Yeah.
Got to keep the dice on the table. 11 on the dice with insight would be 13.
You can't glean too much. Nothing seems too different to you.
Okay.
And he's
Yeah.
also like facing away from you right now. So you can also just wait for him to do a pass again to be like, let me get another look and
Get
also
some of
look
that
at everybody
face
else.
data, you know.
Yeah, Fen probably would wait for him to make another pass just because he's spending the time to let Nana not have to like go to him. Like I don't want to implicate Nana if I don't
Yeah.
have to.
Nana, while you are making your way away, you can see Roshan heading towards the dance hall.
Oh,
And
cool.
also somebody else catches your eye. You can see a figure of about 6.5 feet tall, black robes lined in gray. A lot of the fabric being held close to the body, especially at the wrists and the neck and the ankles, with intricate looking black stitching. Only a portion of the face visible, just the slit for eyes on sort of like kind of a duller, smooth gray skin. And you recognize this person. This was the person that you saw while you were at the practice dueling grounds in town, the archer that you had seen.
Oh, I see.
And you can
This is
see
the
that
same-
they are sort of stiffly walking around and like walking up to a building and then like looking inside and then continuing on and going, looks like towards the next.
Interesting. I'll kind of look out for them in a little bit. I want to check in with Roshan since it's been a little minute since we last saw him near the tent. Just want to make sure he's doing okay and let him know that Fenn's not dead, even though he remote healed a man who could have mauled him for it.
Roshan, you are approached from behind as Nani. You kind of get into step as both of you enter into the room for dancing and this beautiful ice fountain that does the expanse of the room. And Alder is currently not singing and is just sitting in his chair awaiting the icicle above him, which seems to never come, and is just sitting and waiting.
That's a lot to take in.
Oh, hi Nana.
Hi.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect him to be like this, but I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
He
I think
was.
the others
I
mentioned
mean,
he
last I'd
knew.
heard of him in the West, he went underwater while singing, and I don't think he drowned, but
Maybe the
almost.
rumors could have gone
I
around,
don't.
I guess. I don't know. Oh dear. But he's here now and
Yeah, I
performing?
was. If it ever looked like he had a lucid moment outside of beckoning death, I thought I would ask him that, but
Hmm.
uh, I haven't caught him not beckoning death yet, so
Goodness.
we'll see.
Huh. Well, suppose if that's part of the reason he's here, no sense in, I suppose, poking him about it, but, Well, how are you doing?
Fine. Um, I thought I would recognize more people, but uh, perhaps I am just not seeing them because the important people don't come till day 2 or 3. I don't know. I don't know what it's like. But
Yeah. Still. You I've recognized a couple people around, but really nobody that I know much about beyond Torment. By the by, he's finally been healed up from that little incident earlier, it seems. Friendly
I
word
did
from the
see
shadows.
some bloody footprints.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I'm glad he's okay. Better, not dying.
Yeah, he at least didn't seem angrier once it happened. He noticed it happened, but I don't know, he didn't go looking around for wherever it came from, so if he did see it, he didn't seem to care.
Well, let's try not to make him angrier. Uh,
I'm very on board with that in general. Yeah.
yeah. Knowing where he comes from could have effects. I don't.
Mm,
I don't know.
that's precisely why I'd like to be careful in any interactions with him. I did have to speak with him for a very short moment um, in order to just get him to pause for a bit. Um,
And
he
was he
didn't seem
cordial?
He didn't say anything. He didn't brush me away with a hand or anything. He just kept on walking. But he stopped for
Do
a
you know if
moment
he
and
has a
looked at me.
tongue? I don't know.
I've not heard about him not having one, but I don't know.
I mean,
Um,
Ave did tell stories about people missing tongues.
I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know.
Maybe it's
Not sure
just
if
a
I'd know
vow
that.
of silence or something.
Could be, for all I know. I mean, I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. Wasn't as weird as Fenn's vibe earlier on, but I don't know. I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah, I don't either. Um, at least, at least, never mind. I don't know at least anything.
Nana, you see out of the corner of your eye that figure with the only eyes visible, kind of like look into the space and like
Uh-huh.
scan it from corner to corner, and then continue on.
Huh. Nana will kind of like point them out real low key to Roshan and mention, Fen and I did see that person on the practice range when I was trying to find somebody to give me a +1 in. They seem to be
Would
an
you-
archer.
Well, would you like to go talk bows?
Might not be a bad idea. They seemed extremely skilled. Might be
Roshan will kind
interesting.
of pull Nana by the arm and start to make his way after
All right. Woo!
after this person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can catch up to this guy about halfway between like the dancing area and the food and drink area. So he's doing the gambit.
Cool. All right.
Roshan will politely say, "Excuse me," to see if they react.
There is a noticeable hesitation, as if somebody being like, "Couldn't be me,"
Nah.
and then like stops and sort of like slowly turns around to face you, and then down a bit to look down at both of you. And like
Ooh,
looks
friend
at
Archer.
Nana, and then like kind of like a bit of an opening of the eye, like some recognition. Up close you can see just like how smooth this skin is. This sort of like dull grayish purple, incredibly smooth slitted eyes. Sort of like leans in and looks at you and sort of gives you like a cordial little bow.
Nana will return to the same degree.
Roshan will put out a hand in to shake, or however they would like to greet it, and introduce himself and say, "My name is Roshan, and this is my friend Nana. She said that she saw you at the practice arena. Are you a fighter?"
Sort of like there's like a deep breath, and you kind of watch the fabric sort of like kind of mush against, like it looks like almost like more fabric, like a lumpier fabric underneath the mask.
Interesting.
And the eyes like soften a bit. I remember. Yes. It is nice to meet you formally at this event. My name is Essos. I am
Essos.
the far sight of the embrace. So I am a, if need be, combatant. But that should not be an issue today.
Are you enjoying the festivities so far? Do you find anything you like?
I am currently making sure that the space is safe for the embrace.
And
They
is the embrace
arrived?
not here yet?
They will be here momentarily.
Lovely. Well, don't let the one in red with the pearls know that you're not quite trusting of the venue. I think she might take offense.
It is her venue, so I suppose it's
I will not speak
expected,
unless spoken
but
to.
it seems appropriate for your role. I can only imagine your sharp eye is invaluable in your position.
The embrace seems to trust me with this endeavor. So I will take their word for it.
I believe they're well placed.
Is the embrace your longtime employer? Is this a relatively new relationship?
The embrace is my master. I have served for quite some time now.
And does the embrace sound at all familiar to Roshan? I'm guessing
Yeah,
no.
or to
I'm
Nana,
gonna tell you straight up,
guessing
nope.
no.
It does
Okay.
not sound familiar
Okay.
to either of you.
All right. Nothing we
He
heard about
says-
before.
I hope you don't take any offense, but I've not heard of the Embrace. Uh, could you tell us about them?
Then our job has been efficient.
Ah,
The Embrace is known amongst their people, and that is all need be. You may wait with me for a moment if you wish, and you may
certainly.
introduce yourselves from a distance, politely and cordially.
All right.
Absolutely. I'd love to
Yeah.
greet a new guest, meet someone new.
Yeah.
And you guys follow as they finish their round and like look in the other room. And
Mhm.
almost in tandem as Essos finishes their walk and look, they stand expectantly facing the house where people are entering from. And two figures, after some people that you're like, I don't think that's the Embrace. That's not giving me Embrace vibes. And then you're like, no, yeah, that's probably it though. As you are presented with two imposing, dare I say, to you, alien like figures. It is something that doesn't even say in your head, I could imagine this person in my world. It is a person who just stands so on the other end of just the spectrum of being, but walks into this space tall and regal. You see one of the figures is about 8 feet tall, a slender body shape similar to Essos, draped in elegant gray and black robes. Their skin is a kind of like a sickly gray color. Um, the skin is a bit wet and catching the light. They are not wearing a headpiece as Essos is wearing.
Okay.
Their head is smooth and hairless, eyes, slitted pupils, and a mouth that is a mass of squirming tentacles. And atop their head is a crown that presents like a metal laurel with a swirling design that cups sort of behind the head. And next to them, a slightly shorter figure. Same coloration and twisting mouth, but on some of the tentacles, there are like little metal clasps, almost like rings for the mouth tentacles. And
Oh, good.
you can see that her outfit and her body in general does present a bit more feminine in appearance, and you don't know if it's like they seem like it's still like a very similar shape, but like a bit more curve to it and a bit more show in their robes. A bit of fancier coloration in some spots, but still pretty mellow compared to a lot of people here. And you watch
Still
as
like a purposeful, like feminine
yeah,
presentation.
this person is presenting very femininely
Okay.
compared to the person next to them. And you
Okay.
watch as Essos makes his way ahead of you and kind of does like a you may follow behind me sort of look. Like you may step
Okay.
in behind me. You've been
All
given
right.
permission.
Nana and Roshan.
And
Step
you are
out.
you are maybe the first person to go interact with the Embrace. As you watch Essos
Wow.
walk to the front and does like a full like on the knee bow, backs of hands touch the earth,
Oh boy.
and then stands back up and kind of for a moment they look at each other.
Are we supposed
It's
to do
quiet, and then Essos turns around and faces you and steps to the side. This is my master and mistress, the master and mistress of Kath. This is Sultan, the Embrace, and this, his hand, Aolilt. And you watch as the more feminine figure kind of acknowledges you and then does like a little bit of like almost like a curtsy kind of positioning. And you watch the tentacles also kind of go into like that sort of swoop at the sides.
Oh,
and you
interesting.
watch as Sultan the Embrace stands very stoically in that spot, but
Mm-hmm.
acknowledges you. And Essos stands at the side between you both and stands like at attention.
Nana's going to.
Roshan will do a similar bow, but with a little bit less rigidity and more flair, and will like cradle some of the fringe so it doesn't lean on the ground as he bends at the waist, and says, I think he'll say in just telepathy to them, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Roshan and my companion's name is Nana. And then after that, just give a little telepathy to Nana and say, I already introduced you.
Oh, okay.
They
Anana
both-
will just sort of do a similar level of bow to Roshan, similar to the female presenting of these two. I'll have to keep the names in front of me, or else I'm never gonna remember. I'm sorry, guys.
The Embrace and
Aelilt.
Aelilt.
Aelilt. Got it.
Aelilt seems to like react to the mental conversation. The Embrace, stoic, unmoving,
Amazing.
a beacon. Aelilt like a bit of a turn of the head and like a little twist of the tentacles at the mouth, and you hear a voice immediately in both of your heads in return.
Oh,
It is nice to meet you. I am very excited to be here. Thank you for approaching and introducing yourselves and making us feel welcome. Appreciate it.
of course. I don't know if Nana's able to reply mentally to
You're welcome
that.
to certainly try.
Nana will attempt, and if that does not seem to get any reaction, she'll shift over to speaking.
It seems to get a
Um,
reaction.
It does. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Then Nana will just think in very purposefully, it's an honor to meet someone I have never quite met the like of before. You both are very unique in these lands. Thank you for coming and sharing yourselves with us.
And a smile, you guess, from Aolilt. It's kind of hard to tell. It's not a lot of facial features that you're used to, but baby steps. And she kind of like gives a little bit of a nod. If we have any questions, we'll be sure to ask you if you're available. How polite and cordial you've been. Thank you.
Of course.
I hope you enjoy the party as much as we have been.
Mm.
And then he'll bow again and pull away as to not take up too much of their time.
Yeah. We don't want to.
Yeah. Aolilt sort of like reaches over and like sort of like rubs the shoulder of the Embrace.
Mm-hmm.
And a little tentacle kind of comes over and like touches her hand, like a comforting gesture between the two.
That's cute. I love
And,
that, actually.
He begins to turn, and she gives you one more like bow and consideration, and the two of them begin to walk with Essos, who like looks to you and gives you a nod, sort of like a thank you, a bit of a thank you that you feel kind of tickle across your mind, and he falls in step behind them.
Wow. We just met ambassadors from an entirely different civilization.
I guess you never know who you're gonna find at these parties.
I guess not. I'm just grateful you're here to back me up, because I don't think I'm in a state where the others would believe me if I told them what we just saw.
Well, I'm sure they'll be able to see it soon enough.
Well, that's true. They'll be making the rounds, I suppose. Let's, do you have any particular plans going from here? Are you just sort of hanging out?
I was going to go back and watch Alder.
I'll go with you for a little while. If it starts getting a little sad, I might have to go back to the lounge if I'm being very honest with you, but I can stay there for a while at least.
That would be appreciated.
Okay.
Yeah.
The two of you make your way back to the room for dancing and singing with quotes and or question marks around it, up to you. But the party slowly begins to fill with much more new and interesting people who their first time just like you. Meanwhile, everyone's high as shit in this other room. Everyone's fucked up. And you see Russ begins to reach for a tray and like picks up like a smaller piece of this like cracked looking sugar. And you watch as a figure approaches and kind of stops at like a respectful distance, doesn't like fully close the space with Russ, but like stops over an arm's length away and says, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry, Russ. I don't mean to interrupt. Um my master," and this young man motions over. He looks like he's in his mid 20s maybe. Kind of a shaggy brown hair, wearing like white robes, and has almost what kind of looks like a boa, but it's made out of a scroll. So it's almost like a scroll, but it floats gently around the sides of their arms. Um, and he sort of like does like a quick little bow as he comes over. I just wanted to ask you or present this to you before you partook any further, because I thought that would be unsportsmanlike, depending. I'm sorry, I'm very new at this. Sorry, my name is Fierus, and I am a student of the magical arts, and my teacher, my master, and motions over to a tall, slender elven woman wearing a tight-fitting white slip of a dress with like a sheer blue topper. Also has these like round glasses with blue matching for the glass in the middle, and just these dangling chains that look like stars. Uh, my teacher, Everly Asteria, um, she has informed me that the best way for me to understand my magic and to learn and grow is to take it outside of the classroom and use it in actual combat. And we have decided that this may be the best situation. Is that that I challenge you to a duel so that I may use my magic on another person in a violent way for the first time. I do not want this to be any sort of fight to the death, and I would ask you very politely to not punch me in the face. But if you are available, and I wanted to present this to you before you partook any further, and it does not have to happen now, on your schedule. And Russ has just like been like watching silently the whole time. Right, sure. That's no problem. Yeah, how about if it works on your timetables, I'll have to look at my schedule. But how about the second I walk out of this building, we can have a little bout, and I promise I won't punch you in the face. But everywhere else is fair game. And he's like, certainly. I just, understood. Well, happy to help you in this learning moment. I'll see you in a bit, and then pops that piece of cracked sugar into his mouth. And Fierce sort of like nods and makes his way back over to Everly, who looks over at the group and just like a very just like happy, cordial smile on her face, and then gives like a almost like a thank you of a nod towards Russ, who like raises a hand. She brought a person last year, they got absolutely murdered, so I'm glad this one isn't like, hey, we should fight to the death, because I'd feel bad about it if
Weird.
people get murdered.
Weird.
2 years in a row would be rough.
It'd be really bad.
I like her
think
glasses.
I've never had a full conversation with her.
Hmm.
Usually, a lot of spellcasters actually don't approach me, and honestly, I'm happy for it because, God, spellcasters are a pain in the ass. Like, if you can get a few good hits in, that's all it really takes. But they can, bring the sun down on you sometimes.
I do know that. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be painful. That's all I know. It's going to suck, but for the children, they gotta learn what punching feels like, I guess.
I guess. Do you normally do this many fights in a day? Is it every day this many fights?
Well, it depends.
Seems like a lot.
One time actually last year I had 3 back to back. They have this fancy little it's drugs. There's this fancy little drug you can take that kind of peps you back up and you can do another combat. You feel fucking awful after. And I had to 3 back to back and that was rough. But keeps you fighting, so works for me. It's not easy to get your hands on. I've only seen it here at this party.
Okay.
But yeah, spellcasters, pain in the ass. It's like a flip of a coin if it's going to be an absolute slaughter on my end or if I'm going to get my shit rocked until the very end. It's 50-50.
How long are we staying in here then?
I don't know. I was gonna wait for this to kick in and then go into it, I suppose.
Just slowly reaching for another one too.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, this party. Ellie's like gone. Ellie has just kind of disappeared from the space. You don't know if she's just fully sunk into the floor and just has become one with the earth. You don't know. But as you reach for another piece of candy, we'll just call it candy for the rest of this for ease. You reach for another piece of candy, and as you're looking around, there we go. A person catches your eye, Nyx. A man who looks like they are making their way out of the space. Sort of a relaxed look about them. It's weird because your brain's like, I can't hear this person's voice, and I can't imagine them in front of me as you watch this person walk by. This is a man, probably maybe 30. Has just like very like this guy moisturizes. Like he just seems to be really put together. So he could be in his 40s, but like looks pretty good for whatever he's got going on. He has deep brown skin and a short afro texture hair. His eyes are brown and and it has like just a similar color to his hair color, so just like a deep brown color. You can see from his ears he has a bunch of just like a full covering of just dangly piercings, and it looks like he has one under his lip as well, and painted on his face, you assume, it looks like stars. The man looks to have stars decorating his face and on his hands. And it looks like he maybe shaved that morning and has like the start of a 5 o'clock shadow coming in. And is wearing an outfit of deep blues, very, very drapey, and also kind of mimics that star look, just like gentle, slowly fading in and out of like from the fabric in and out, and he's just making his way out of the space slowly. It doesn't look like he's like in a hurry.
Yeah, we've got to go. We gotta catch this Ogden. I told you about him. It's the guy, the fortune teller guy. We gotta go catch him. She's getting up, grabs a handful of the candy.
Try to follow.
Let's go.
Oh God.
Oh, we get some of these
this for the
narcotics.
road.
We need it for the road.
Nyx, you could totally make it to him like by the door. You believe you could catch him.
She's going to.
Yeah. You scuttle up. It's very obvious, and he sort of like stops.
You weren't at your cart last time. Hello.
Oh, I'm so sorry that I missed you.
It's okay. Do you want one of these?
Oh, that is very sweet. I already partook.
Me too. I'll save them. It's fine. Are you doing any of your your fortune telling, whatever is here, or would it be after?
Oh. And he like looks and like other people you can see are casually leaning back in their seats, like trying to get an ear on this conversation, also
Mhm.
interested. Well, it's hard to say no. I'm offering. I could offer you a stone reading, I suppose. I could read your runes.
I like that. Sounds fun. We should do that. Yes.
Of course. Why not? Um, Sometimes the thing is, you have to know about runes. He says as he goes over to a table and pulls like a cloth almost like out of his sleeve and begins to open it and set it on the table. So, runes, I'm sure this may upset you. I know it's upset many, and pulls a velvet satchel out of their pocket. It does not tell your fortune. It presents you with a way to look at your story as it is and where it may go. I do also do actual readings, but I'm going to save those for the last night
Mm.
because they take a bit out of you. Draw 3 and puts the bag in front of you as you pull out 3 runes and set them on the table in front of you. He watches and nods. And of course you've seen runes before. It's not anything strange to you. But they just sit on the table, and the first rune stands out to you immediately as Algi's, which is half of Bosch's symbol, the pitchfork, the first rune to be placed on the table. And he looks to it and says, the first rune is the situation or the issue at hand, whatever that may be for you, and kind of gives like a smile and looks to the rune. Algi's, defense, connection to the gods, awakening. Have you recently been in a position where either there has been a spiritual awakening, or you have felt closer to a god, or have been in a situation where this may be apparent to you?
I did take some god drugs like a day or two ago,
Oh, I see.
and the sleep one, and it did work, so I think so.
All right. A connection to higher beings you have. That's good to know. The second rune is the force opposing you, something that is preventing you from this protection and this connection that you have in your life, whether it is to this god you have interacted with, or other gods, or even just the people around you. The next one, let's see here, as he runs his fingers over the runes, because that's what he's doing. Slowly running his fingers over the runes. And stops on the second one. Fagus, meaning dawn. And he smiles. It's a breakthrough. It is awareness. It is a power to change the self. So there is something preventing you from this connection. Something is changing you. something is actively awakening. And this is preventing you from a connection with something higher. Does that resonate? That you are changing?
I mean, I'm freezing to death, so yes.
Um,
Yeah,
it
that
looks
is
like
it's a change.
it looks like a choice if that makes you feel any better.
No, but it's there.
Mm,
Yeah.
I understand. Uh, I understand situationally. I do not understand the feeling. The last rune is what happens if you remain on this path. The current path that. And he just smiles. Well, let's see. And takes a look to it. God damn you. Uh, see, I'm building it up and now I hate myself. He points to it, the rune that has an X on it. Gabo. And smiles as he looks to it. Blessings, exchanging of oaths, personal relationships. So you are currently on a path to connection and a place of blessings and hospitality. But you will definitely change along the way, for better or worse. I suppose I could. And, like, kind of reaches towards the bag. I suppose we could do a resolution. And hands the bag to you to draw from. I see. Jura. And you have a flash of the corpse pinned above the inn, the runes upon his face, the name he gave himself. Jura. The cycle. The harvest. You are going to gather and accrue and build. And you will find a peace. But peace comes in many forms. And this is not a bad outcome, finding peace. But you can always turn anything around, I'm sure. Some people aren't looking for peace. Some people are looking to shake their fist at the sky and run into the night and take what's theirs. But not everyone wants that. And he smiles a bit. I hope that was helpful in some way. It's more of a way to look inwards, I suppose.
I think it makes sense.
That's good.
Not bad. I don't know why people get mad about it at all. Seems straightforward.
I think so. Some people want direct answers, and sometimes I can give that, but it's a lot more than runes on rocks.
Hmm.
But I'm always willing. I have the fabric out for it, and kind of like looks to Keld. Are you interested? You came over together.
I did drag you over.
You did. I'm
It was really hard.
curious.
Of course. And on the last day, we'll see if you want something more. It's going to have to be at the very end, maybe even after, as Keld, you begin pulling runes out of a bag. And he takes a moment to run his hands over them and takes them in as he looks to you and looks to the runes, and it seems like he's trying to get a read on who you are as a person. Looks into your eyes, and you look into his and can almost see stars deep within his eyes, but you don't know if that's just a part of his outfit. Probably. He motions to the first one. Soilo. The sun. Guidance. Awareness. Individual victory leading to honor. You're a fighter. You don't wear any armor or wield any weapon now, but I can tell that you are a fighter and you're a good one. And I think you know that. You have goals you wish to achieve, and you have a hope inside of you that you will achieve it. You stand on the precipice of this hope as he runs his fingers over the runes. Lagus. Water. Emotion. Fluidity. Renewal. Life. Your goal? Survival gets in the way, and not your survival. Your emotions are clashing with something. The idea of life and death. What is good and what is bad. This stands in your way of goals, is what is right and what is wrong, and if that matters. And when it comes down to this block, it is coming from you. It is your emotions, your feelings. Whether you think they are put on you or from somewhere else, it is your choice and your feelings. As he moves a hand over to the last rune. If you remain on your path, your goal, while conflicted, Mon nods and smiles. Humanity. Awareness of the self, the collective, the conscience of humanity. It will be preserved. You will achieve your goal. But you will be left in that place that your center rune leaves you, conflicted and confused. If you cannot get your emotions in order before completing your goal, you will struggle. That is up to you if it is important. You can accomplish it, but at what cost?
A lot of food for thought.
That's what they say. And some people also look at it and go, that could mean anything. And that's the point also. I could be very wrong. I don't know your story. That could be something different for you. And you know yourself better than I do. So, food for thought, indeed.
For my keen eye.
And kind of pushes himself up. Well, I hope that lived up to something. I'm sorry that you didn't catch me on the road. I would have probably provided you a proper reading.
That's okay. This was great.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, as he picks up his fabric and begins to fold it to place kind of back into his sleeve. Thank you. That was fun.
Thank you. Should we go back to Russ? Kind of ran away from the table.
Oh, yeah. He's got a fight to get to.
He does.
You all have fun with that. And Audvin makes his way out of the space. And you see kind of Russ like slap his thighs, well, and like stands up. And he begins making his way over to the entrance, over to you guys. Right? You guys ready for a fight? Ready to watch a fight?
I think so.
that.
Right.
Not the fighting part.
No. Listen, there's no reason that either of you should like ever fight here. There's no reason, at least in my heart of hearts. I can't think of a good reason.
Meanwhile.
Meanwhile, the good reason waiting around the
Oh, God.
door. 1 second. Hey guys, have I told you that my binder is full of so much information and yet in a terrible order? There we go.
Yay.
Russ makes his way out and is quickly, politely intercepted by Fierce.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, the Gold, my name is Fierce, and I would like to challenge you to a fight to unconsciousness. And Russ looks at him. I agree to your terms. Let's go. And I won't. And he kind of lowers his voice. I won't touch the moneymaker. And makes his way to the arena. And Russ just sort of stretches and like gets readjusted. And you watch this guy like the scroll unfurls further and up in front of him. You see it's his spell book. He's actively wearing it and reading from it. And you watch as like runes almost float off of it and morph and shift. And you watch as a like spectral armor slaps against his body and like tightens itself in place. And sort of gets into position ready for this. You can see he's nervous and antsy. And makes his way over to the arena. Russ also entering the arena. And you watch ice build at the top of the circle and rain down immediately on top of Russ, who looks up at it and like tries to dodge out of the way. And you watch as it just slams hard into his shoulder and like brings him down, and he has to like yank his way away from it and pull upwards. And he just moves in on this guy, and the bludgeoning begins.
Oh, there it goes.
You can see that this man immediately, like his body tenses up for a good few hits before he's able to get back in it. And you watch as light glows from his hands as he twists magic in front of him, and just like hits a hand forward against Russ, and you hear the like squeak of armor as it tries to like bend inwards. And people start watching respectfully. Does everybody in their own way come out during this time? Fen, you haven't seen Torment make another round. You've kind of lost eyes on him.
Yeah, I'd probably, seeing that Russ is in the ring, go over there. Is there any chance I could be petting a Thumbla while I do this?
Oh yeah, you could. It's
Okay.
a
Hell
bit far
yeah.
off, but like you still got a view of it. You can
Okay,
watch
cool.
Death rain from above.
Yeah, since I knew Ellie was there, I was like, oh, Thumbla's here probably too. And I'll
Yeah, and you
find
can
him
find
and be
him
like,
as well.
oh, okay, cool.
Hell yeah.
Good cow.
Nana and Roshan, do you step out to watch it all?
Feel like we would, don't you think so?
Yeah, I think Roshan would be kind of at the threshold so he could watch both forms of entertainment
Yeah. Hear the
at the
music.
same
Of
time.
course.
Watch.
Yeah.
Watch
Nana will get
Russ
a little
get
bit closer, so
obliterated.
if Roshan needs like up to date, like close up details, he
Mhm.
can ask.
Yeah. You watch as Russ goes in to hit like hard, and a
Ooh.
magical shield sort of produces itself in front of this guy and fully brings him down to his knees, the force of the hit, but does not make any impact on him as they continue to go for blows. You're all watching, enjoying a beautiful and terrible combat, and Roshan, somebody catches your eye, and to say very familiar. A tiefling woman with light, dusty pink skin, eyes that are nearly completely pupilless and white, inset horns that curve down over the back of her head and down her back, where there is a big dip in the dress in her back, so you can see that these horns go at least down to her hips. She has straight white hair that goes down her back. She is wearing a tight black dress with a low kind of deep collar and a metal choker that looks like the maw of a wolf biting upwards and sharp teeth kind of sticking a bit into her jaw. She has sleeves that hang loosely off the shoulders and around the wrists. Around her wrists are what looks like bracelets that have a bit of a bone white look to them, bleached bone in the sun. Um, she has a bit of a ribbing corset cinched tightly around her waist and tall black boots with pink bottoms that match her skin tone a bit. She looks over to you, Roshan, and just gives you a cordial smile.
I think it takes Roshan a second, because I think he tenses up worrying about the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
But when he realizes he doesn't have to worry about it, he relaxes and then gives her a real looking cordial greeting, but he's saying not nice things in his head.
Yeah. You can tell that both of you are probably saying not nice things about each other in your head, both on different ends of the spectrum, but she gives you a cordial nod, and you see for a moment she considers approaching you. And she sort of looks back towards the fight, and she does not look back at you. Something catches her attention, and she makes her way back towards the festivities.
I think he'll just sigh and happily watch the fight without her.
You watch as she makes her way through the crowd. Give me a perception check real quick, Roshan. See if you
Yeah.
can keep eyes on her while she goes.
Well, that's pretty good. 27.
She goes right to the front and stops next to Nyx. And Nyx, a woman stands next to you and looks over at you. A tiefling woman. Here's the question. You did spy on their conversation, but did you ever see her?
I don't think we did.
Yeah, if you did, it was half a glance, but I don't think you ever saw her directly.
Seeing that she's approached, is Nyx within like 60 feet of me?
No, Nyx is further away.
I think Roshan would approach until he can feel that telepathic connection, and says, "Be careful with that one. It's Jinli. Throw your hands up if you need help, and then we'll keep an eye on her."
Yeah.
She immediately says, "Goal!" cheering for her husband.
Jinli glances over at you and then back towards the fight. Are you a fan?
Of the fighting? I'm supporting it because, that's my husband, and since he's fighting, makes sense.
I will assume your husband is the one beating that other man with his own spell book.
That would be the one, yes.
A good choice, I think. Of the two, if it were a competition, I think.
I don't really know the other one, but I do like my choice.
Where... I so hate to pry. Where did you get that weapon? And she motions to the sickle.
It was in a cave.
I see. A great find. Are you often one who hunts for treasures and relics? Because you are indeed holding a relic.
Can I hear this? I assume
if
I was
you're s-
standing near
If
it.
you're
standing
standing
next
with
to it,
me.
yeah, you're probably You're probably on just like the opposite side, so you just kind of like one little ear.
I don't. We're not really relic hunters. We were helping people.
We just stumbled upon it.
Hmm?
Oh, I see. Both of you stumbled across the relic. Did you? Was there another weapon there?
I believe it was missing. Yeah, no, it was gone. Just an empty space.
I see. Roll
Mhm.
persuasion.
So bad.
Because that sounds like a lie, but we all know it's not.
I mean, 14.
Okay. She acknowledges it and then looks back to the fight, and you watch Russ go from like being in a spot in front of this guy to being thrown back and like hitting against the wall and then like kind of like sliding down.
God.
Well, he takes a hit pretty well. So, I'll get right to it. There's no point for formalities, I think. What would you like for this weapon?
I'm sorry.
I am looking for trade.
See, I'm not.
I would ask you to reconsider.
I'm good. I'd rather keep it.
There's nothing you want for. And she her eyes look to you and then skim down ever so slightly to the side of your face.
I don't think that that's something you can help with.
There's only one way to find out.
Hmm.
But
How would you prove it?
we'd have to do the trade, and the trade would be that I would do my best. And if not, then I would compensate you as best I could.
Hmm.
I don't think she wants to trade.
Not really. I'm assuming you'll be here though, so I could think about it for a day.
Of course, think about it.
Hmm.
And she looks back to the arena, and Russ, who has just like propelled himself off the wall and just full speed ran back into this guy. And you watch as just one solid good hit in the gut, and then Russ sort of like kind of gets an arm up under his jaw and just kind of like holds him for a second and like gets like a hand over his mouth and is just now waiting it out as this guy like hits back at him. You watch magic missiles fly out of this bitch and start slamming into Russ's back. How many fights do you think he can do in a day?
Well, a smaller one I don't think can do more than one,
Oh no.
if one. I haven't seen, a good range to know for sure.
Well, I'll have to see if any of my friends are interested in a bit of combat for fun.
Hmm. He has never lost from what I know, but
Then it would be a real shame to lose in front of you. The first time.
I don't think it matters that much. Not to me.
Does it matter to him?
You could ask him. I don't think that's going to last much longer.
Oh no. No, that man is you can see the fluttering of his eyes. He's almost gone. Well, keep this trade in mind, and you can
And
It's
if not, you're
supposed to-
going to fight my husband. I understand.
Oh, I have no intention of fighting your husband.
No, your friends are. I'm not going to fight him either. Not supposed to.
Of course.
Who are your friends?
Well, I'm sure we'll meet them soon enough.
Hmm.
And if you decide that you'd like him to actually have a good time at this event, unless this is his good time, then he's truly living it, isn't he? Maybe they could pay him a quick visit. I've heard, or at least last year I saw he did multiple fights in a row. Why not again? Or maybe some of your other companions may be interested in a bit of combat.
It's possible.
We can check in later.
Sure.
She smiles. Well, enjoy your victory. And she like motions over to Russ, who's just like gently laying down the body of this mage. You watch Russ sort of like straighten up and just like looks rough, like spits some blood on the ground and like sort of like kind of ruffles his own hair and like tries to like kind of like focus up. He looks a lot worse than he did in the fight against Raw. As the walls come down and people begin to tend to the mage, who wakes up and is like, that was the most amazing thing I've ever done. And just like the look of a man who's just discovered how powerful he is kind of just like goes across his face. He lost this fight, but the power he now feels coursing through his
Good for
bones.
him.
Good for this guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, good.
Can only thank his nice teacher who said you should get your ass beat to find that power.
What a nice teacher.
What a nice
What a
teacher.
nice
And
teacher.
Jinli
How
kind of gives you
well.
a polite
I'm sure
bow.
all of their students are so happy.
I'm sure they're having a great time. And gives you a polite bow
Definitely.
as she makes her way over. And you can see that two individuals do take up step with her. One of them, a creature, tall, bulky, of green scale and like a bit of a furl at the top, a lizard folk, who stands tall and heavy next to her, following in step. And you see the tail end of a more a smaller form, more human presenting, at least from the back, turns to the boy, and you can see what looks like a beautiful like cheetah-esque pilt covering their shoulders from behind like a cloak as they step in time with Jinli. And the three of them make their way over. It looks like they're going to go get drinks. And they pick up conversation with each other. And as Russ exit the arena and just sort of like puts his arms on your shoulders. Fucking hate spellcasters. Sons of bitches.
You're
Gives you
looking a little
kiss on
rough.
the cheek. See, the thing is, I'm fine, but like, there's something about being like, you know, the elements. Like, you can take like a hit from a sword and be like, "Ow, that hurts," but when somebody is like, "This is an element hitting you in the body," like, it's just a lot. Whew. As a little man comes over and is trying to remend the outfit as he does every time.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Nix.
Do they give him any healing at all? Or is it just the mending of the armor?
It looks like somebody is coming over to do healing, but you're welcome to step in if you want
Yeah.
to.
I think when he, puts his arm around her, immediately she casts heal on him. It gives him 70 hit points back. Because that was
Wow.
rough.
Damn.
Dude, looking good.
Yeah.
That feels better. The thing is, like, it's worse with like trained spellcasters because they like, you know, they have a plan, and like you can throw off a plan. You can't throw off chaos like that until I guess you choke them out. But all good. And he gives you a kiss. Right?
Kiss him
You
back.
said we were going to dance. Do you want to go?
Yeah. Clearly very frazzled though. From that conversation with him.
Yeah, you can see that he's also just up in his adrenaline, so it's hard for him to notice. And he takes her hand and begins to go. And real quick, because I want all this information out there before I go. Just linger with me for a moment. Tan materializes next to Nana. Do you have people in mind? I found a couple.
I found at least 4 that seem like good candidates potentially. I'm glad to get any information from you that you happen to have on them.
I found 2 that I'm interested in.
Mhm.
I'll let you decide because I picked based on people's status that
Right.
have seconds.
Those would
So-
all be things you would know far better from a glance than I would, so I appreciate
So
it.
she kind of like points over to a young woman who looks to be around Tan's age, wearing a pink outfit, very frilly, very feminine, very seems almost kind of very eccentric in movement and vibe as she makes her way through the space, a very opposite of Tan. And she kind of squints. Okay, that's Vina Fallon. She also inherited a business recently, and
Mhm.
we're not at odds, but we're in a similar bracket. So fighting against her second would get us at least back to where we were, if not higher.
Mhm.
Her second, she points over to a figure, body covered in fur, long muscular arms that hang like very long at the sides, a bit of gray patches in the fur. This is a bugbear man, tall and sort of these long gangly arms, wearing chainmail threaded with pink fabrics that match Vina's outfit.
Huh.
And you can see a whip at the side also matching those pinks. So he's wearing her colors.
Okay.
And she points over to a man who is sitting on the grass outside, a very round, plump man, just like a big, happy smile on his face.
Okay.
That is Quayle. Um, Nature guy. I don't know if he's a druid or not. I don't know him. I'm basing this fully off of status that I think he'd be a good fight. His
Mhm.
second, and she points over to a human woman, slender muscle with toned arms, short
Mhm.
bleach blonde hair in a pixie cut, wearing leather armor that is covered in mosses and seems to be its own ecosystem and actively alive and moving. Like it is
Ooh.
a armor that slowly shifts and kind of seems to breathe with her. Wearing a simple brown dress underneath, wearing long gloves that expose different fingers on each hand. You believe these are
Mhm.
archer gloves. You've seen them before.
Yeah.
And she is currently looking kind of sticking to the edges and not being super involved.
Mm.
Okay, so the bugbear is Dacian May, and God, they said something. People in their titles. It was like Bonnie of the Weald is the other one.
Okay.
So
Okay.
by tomorrow, just tell me which one we're going for. If it's one of those 2, I have to initiate the challenge.
All right. I
And
understand.
go ahead and roll me insight real quick. We'll
Okay.
see if you can get the same info you got for the others.
We will attempt. Insight it be due. Not as good a roll this time around, sadly. It's a 14.
Okay. You can ask one question about each.
Okay.
So, what would you like to know about Dacian May, the bugbear? Wearing chainmail and has a whip at the side.
Chainmail and a whip. Is he... Is he more dexterous than me?
What's your dexterity?
16.
No,
Okay.
he's not more dexterous than you.
All right.
And then we have Bonnie of the Weald.
Bonnie of the Weald. And does she seem does she seem wiser than me?
What's your wisdom?
14.
Yes.
Okay.
And you pick up on that information. Tan says, I'll give you time to think it over. I don't know much about one-on-one combat, so I can't really help there. So
Right.
I might have something that can help, but it's up to you. We'll decide if you want it. It's
Yeah.
fine. It might be more hindrance than help. I need another drink. And just
Yeah.
immediately walks past you to continue forward. And that is where we are going to stop for today. With all of you having the information that you need to maybe ponder what happens on night 2 as this night slowly reaches its end. A little more left, a little more fun to be had, more drugs to be done, more people to dance with, what have you. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story here at the Dice Cult. If you want to see, hey, what have they been up to? You can head over to youtube.com/the Dice Cult and watch all past episodes of On the Backs of Gods. You can also watch one-shots, other D&D games, Vampire the Masquerade, whatever suits your fancy. If you'd like to keep up with us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. If you'd like to keep up with all of us, we are at the Dice Cult on Instagram and Twitter. I will not be here next week. So if you stick to the socials, you can see what's going on and if the party's partying, what the party of peoples might be up to. Katie also makes beautiful dice and is putting the link in the chat because that's what we do here. We put the link in the chat. Once again, thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story. We will be here same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.